Hey guys, it's Niko from Steel City Vintage, and today I have two knockout Omega Constellations for you. Both 4th series, reference 2852, and they're both in the same exact case material, that's gold capped over steel, both with the same exact dial layout configuration, which is a pie pan and a crosshair with a dagger style hour markers. And today I want to go over these watches to help develop your tools for assessing a watch's condition that you might be interested in purchasing in the future. So hopefully you get something out of it. Let's dive right in. So first we have on the left a watch that was basically in a private collection, and then the one on the right is one that we just recently sold on our website. So taking a look at the two watches, you can see that originally this watch was born with a bright white silverish dial, right? There's no imperfections, no patina. This is what the watch would have looked like when it was first born and came out of the factory. You can see on the outer edge there's this concentric brushed circle finish that in the right lighting can almost give it that two-tone look. Taking a look at the watch on the right now, you can see that over time you have seen a little bit of a patination, right? The watch has become a little more champagne-esque due to the way that the watch lived and the conditions and the environment that it was in. Has patinated to that champagne color. There's some specking that you can see kind of throughout. So the one on the left, you can see that it's pretty much basically almost new old stock condition, while the one on the right is in collector grade condition in my opinion. Very, very similar overall, but we're just going to go through those differences further. Now, it's important to note that there's no right or wrong way when evaluating a watch. It's basically you just want to have a system developed in your mind so that way you can complete all of your bases, you can go through the watch in its entirety before making a decision if you want to buy it. So moving away from the dial then, we'll work our way outside, at least staying with the front of the case. You can see on both watches the lugs are very sharp. The one on the right, you can basically tell that you would almost think that the watch is unpolished, right? It's not only until we have the one on the left that we can kind of compare some things to give us some hints that there was some light polishing that was done. Specifically looking at the lug thickness back down during its attachment at the strap. It's a little bit thinner when you compare it to the one on the left, right? The one on the left is a little bit thicker overall. And then taking that and going to the back of the watch, we can take a look at the medallion. So staying with the watch on the right, the medallion is very crisp. You can see all 8 stars. The observatory is present and accounted for, very distinct lines. Again, you would almost think that the watch is unpolished based off its condition if we didn't have the one to the left to compare to. If you look at the one on the left has this backdrop for the stars that's grainy, almost matte in its texture. Going back to the one on the right now, you can compare it, and it has this glossy finish. So we know that there has been some polishing. Also, moving away from the medallion and getting towards the outer portion of the flat surface of the case, you can see that it's a little bit, again, glossier. There should be this matte finish. So comparing it with the one on the left, there's this matte finish with a concentric brushed circling that gives it this very, very contrast look when you go from the domed edge, which is a mirror finish, to the flat matte finish. You can see that on the one on the right, it's not as apparent. Then, moving out to the lugs on the back portion of the watch, you can see that the gold, so backtrack a little bit. Gold capped watches, right? Especially with Omega, what you want to assess for on the condition on the back of the watch is you want to see that gold draped over, right? You want to see it kind of draped over the back. That's going to be the thing that goes first when this watch is over polished, right? You're going to lose, because it's such a thin area, you're going to lose that thin gold layer that's draped over. So that's one that you really want to look for when you're assessing to make sure the watch hasn't been polished, or if it has, not over polished. Now, taking a look at the one on the right, you can see that that gold is present, it's accounted for, but you can see some marks that you would presume is basically from the spring bars, you know, scratching that surface when people were changing straps. When you compare it to the one on the left, you can see that there's basically no marks, and again, it has that matte finish, right? It's not a polished mirror finish when this case originally came out. So, in summary, we have two great watches, in my opinion. One on the right, collector grade. One on the left, basically new old stock with some very, very slight imperfections. The one on the right, like I said, very, very good condition overall, in my opinion. The one on the left, it's an anomaly. You just don't find them. So on those, you can name whatever price you want. So sometimes it's not only about the rarity of the watch, but it's also the overall condition. And when you find watches in that type of condition, those are the ones that I would advise you to hold on to for sure. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Me and my family, we'd really appreciate if you hit that like button and that subscribe button. It really does help to grow this channel, especially now that we're in our infancy. And I hope that, you know, we can continue to make some educational and entertaining videos for you guys in the future. Appreciate it. Take care.